Okay, so this is for one reference group. This is another reference group. What is the difference between them? This is also signalized. The difference is the volume. Okay, so you may have the same site, but one has more volume, the other one has less volume. They should go in different groups. Okay, the one which has more volume will have more conflicts, right? More vehicles, more conflicts. Okay, so the mean for this side, then the mean for this side, and so on. Clear? Okay, so for example, you have a site which is signalized and it has volume more than this. Now you take the conflict study of your site and compare with these numbers. If your number is higher, that means you have a problem. If your number is same as the average or less than that, that means there is no problem. Okay, clear? And what are these numbers? These are different types of conflicts. So maybe you don't have a problem in this one and this one and this one, but you have a problem here. So now you know you have a problem, and you know what type of problem you have. Got it? Okay, clear?
My rate vector must be greater than this number.
Yes. This is conflict rate. Okay, so you have a reference group. Reference group means a group of similar sites. Okay, so this is a reference group which has signalized and volume more than this. Okay, so let's say your site is also signalized and volume more than this. So you will observe these conflicts on your site and you will check with these numbers. These are the mean values for the entire group. Okay, so if your values are more than the mean, that means you have a problem. You are having more conflicts than the normal sites. Mean is the normal one. Okay, if you have less than, there is no problem. So I was saying maybe you may have a problem with one of the types of conflicts. These are different types of conflicts, right? So my left turn, no problem. Slow vehicle, no problem. Lane change, no problem. But I have a problem with right turning vehicles. The conflict of right turning vehicle, the mean is more than this mean. So that means I have a problem. I have a problem, and what problem with the right turning vehicles? Clear? Okay. And then we have the last one, which is the frequency method, which is very commonly used because then you don't need the data from different sites or different times. Okay, so in the before and after study, I need data taken twice, before and after. Reference group, cross section, I need data from multiple sites. Frequency method, there is no such restriction. Okay, so it's very commonly applied, and it can be applied where other things are not applicable. Okay, other methods are not applicable. And how do we identify the sites on which we will do this type of study? It can be identified through public input. People are requesting something on this site. It could be part of something political. The government wants to make something new here, new housing scheme or something. Okay, or it could be that too many reports are coming on media related to the traffic congestion here or related to the accidents here and so on and so forth. Okay, in this study we take two types of observation. The first observation is the conflicts. Okay, the type of conflicts you are having. Okay, and the second observation is counting of number of vehicles. Okay, so you are counting how many conflicts are happening and for how many vehicles are happening. Like what was the total number? This is the total number. Okay, and obviously it should be for the same time. Okay, so at the same time there are multiple observers. One is looking at the conflicts, the other one is counting the vehicles. So they have already given some examples. For example, somebody did hard braking. It's a conflict. Okay, abrupt lane changing. It's a conflict. Okay, so and normal braking. So somebody just stopped normally, slowly, and so it's not a conflict. And somebody was in the right turning lane. He made the turn. No problem. Okay. Yes. Yes, and the movements would be in different directions. Okay, so I'm not talking about total volume, we are talking about turning movement count. Okay, so how many were taking the right turn, how many were going straight, how many were taking the U-turn and so on. Okay, so obviously then you need lot of observers to count these, because they are in different directions. Another alternative is, instead of taking volume, you take the rate on the basis of time. Okay, so if you are taking the movement counts, then you can calculate the rate per vehicle. How many conflicts per unit vehicle. If you don't have this, then you can calculate the rate per unit time. Okay, conflicts per hour, conflicts per day, like I showed you in the previous table. Okay, it can be, if you have a signal, then it could be conflict per cycle as well. To make it more detailed, you can do the counting for different modes as well. Okay, how many cars, how many buses, how many pedestrians. Okay, so again, the more you make the count detailed, the more detailed results you can have. Okay, so for example, there was a normal diamond interchange. You may have seen it in highway or something, and it is retrofitted or it is changed into diverging diamond interchange. Okay, so what is the diverging diamond interchange? Something like this. Okay, so basically then you have to go like this. Okay, and there's a crossing point here as well. So these are the crossing points. Because of them, it is called as the diverging. So you are coming from one direction going to the other direction. Okay, and in this case you are coming from one direction going to the other direction. So because of these points, it is called as diverging diamond interchange. Okay, so they want to analyze what happened with the new design, with the diverging design. Okay, and if they have a problem, then where is the problem? Okay, so for a conflict study, first thing you do is make a sketch of your site. This is what they did. Okay, now what are these points here? These are the types of, what is this? Types of what? Conflict points. Okay, so wherever so they made the movements, and wherever the merging, diverging, crossing was happening, they have mentioned it. Okay, so now they know what type of conflicts can happen and where they can happen. Okay, so this is done before you make the study. Before you go in the field, you have to do this. Make a sketch, make the movements, and see where are the conflict points and what type of conflicts you have. Then you go for the study. At this point, you can exclude some of the types. You can say, okay, we will not do the study for this one. This is not important. This is diverging, not important. One vehicle going in this direction, one vehicle going in this direction, no problem. Okay, even if there's a crash here, this will not be severe. Okay, you can exclude some of the points, but they didn't do it here. And another thing which you can see here, in this diagram, you can actually see the signals as well. Where are the signals? Okay, so this is a diagram which is showing the actual movement, the actual geometry of the site. So you can see the signals, you can see the lane directions, okay, and you can see how many lanes you have for each case. Okay, so we have what type of so you can see there are some red lines and there are some black, okay, points. So these red lines are basically indicating something. Where is it? Anyway, they are looking for two types of things. One is the conflict. So conflict happens between one road user and the other road user. Okay, and the other thing they are looking for is the erratic maneuver. Somebody went to the other lane suddenly. It was empty, but he made the change very sudden. Okay, or he was coming very fast and he suddenly stopped. The car, there was no car behind him, so there was no problem. But he himself did something which he shouldn't have done, right? He should have slowed down and stopped properly. Okay, So this is called as an erratic maneuver. In this study, they called it as an erratic maneuver. So erratic maneuver is what? Where the driver did something dangerous, risky, but there was no other road user involved. So there was only one road user who was doing the risky movement. Got it? Okay. So two types of things were observed. Both of them are important. And this is what they did. Now what is side A and side B? This is side B. This entire thing is side B, and this entire thing is side A. So they observed both sides separately, and these are the results they found. Side A and side B. Okay. So what type of conflicts they have and their number. Okay. And their rate per cycle. What is a cycle? Tell me.
Number of all phases.
Summation of all phases. Okay. All from red to red. Okay. So they observed 86 cycles on side A and they observed 100 cycles on side B. Okay, so you can see it's different, right? Time is different. Maybe they observe for less time here and more time here. So that's why they are not combining the data. Okay, if it was observed for the same time, you can combine the data. Okay, so total number of conflicts and erratic maneuvers 29. Per cycle 0.34. Out of 29, 3 were conflicts, 26 were erratic maneuvers. And the rate for each one of them, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you can see here on side A what is the problem. The problem is the erratic maneuver. Okay, so it's not between the two road users, just the driver doing something confusing or sudden or something. Okay, same thing. Where is it? So total is 15, and again you see the same pattern here. Okay, 1 conflict and 14 are erratic maneuvers. So the most of the problems are happening because of the behavior of the driver. No other vehicle is involved. Okay, the drivers do not understand what they have to do. Okay, and within erratic maneuvers, then what type of maneuvers they are? Okay, are they related to U-turn or rear end or signal compliance or stopping or what? Okay, now you can see here, this is a chart which is showing different types of conflicts or maneuvers for each side. Okay, now which one is problematic here? Signal compliance. Okay, so most of the drivers have a problem with signal compliance. On which side? Side A specifically. Okay, and then we have which other problem? Merging. And this merging problem is on which side more often? Side B. Okay, you can see on which side what type of problem we have. So according to the problem, they have made this conclusions and recommendations. Okay, so signal compliance is a big issue. Why it could be a big issue? Maybe the cycle length is very long on side A. It was side A, right? So the cycle length is very long on side A. Okay, so you know at long cycle length you see the signal is yellow. You know if it turns red, I will wait here for 2-3 minutes, right? How can I do this? Let me just go. Even if it kills me, no problem, right? Time is money, right? And life is useless. Okay, so consider decreasing the cycle length. Okay, merging problem. Both sides have merging problem, but more for the side B. And merging problem is because of right turning vehicles. Okay, so maybe the vehicles which are coming from the right side when they are trying to merge onto the main highway, they are not expecting people from the other side, because remember I told you this is something unique. Okay, so merging is happening where? Where is merging? This one. Okay, this is merging. Okay, when they are merging like this, they are not expecting anybody to come from this side. Okay, this is a diverging diamond interchange. Remember, so this is not common. You will not see it. People are coming from this side and then merging into your lane. Okay, so this is very uncommon. So maybe they should put some extra signs and markings to aware the driver that somebody is coming from the other side. Okay, and they should mention.
Victor, there is signal.
Sorry.
There is signal.
not from merging. If you're taking a right turn, somebody already crossed his signal, he's coming.
Okay.
So you may try to reduce the angle of the other side, try to increase the side distance. Okay. Lane changing is also a problem. It was one of the problems here. Lane change. Okay, so lane changing was also problematic. So if you look at the diagram, you will find that now lane changing, lane changing means what? You are, you want to go on one side, okay, or you want to go straight, but maybe you are in the wrong lane, okay, or you don't know in which lane you should be. Then you can have a lane changing conflict, okay. So to make it more clear to the driver, you can have better channelization, better lane marking, maybe arrows on the pavement and so on and so forth. Okay, so drivers know from the start in which lane they should be. If they want to change the lane, they must do it at the start, okay, before they enter into a conflict. Okay, so next time we will do the collision analysis.